We are really in an unprecedented situation in American politics and really in global politics in a number of different ways. And we just don't know who we can believe at this point in time about Donald Trump's condition when it comes to having contracted coronavirus and being hospitalized since last week. The president of the United States, just 4 weeks plus 1 day, that's where we are today, 4 weeks plus 1 day from a presidential election, is in the hospital with a case of coronavirus, the same coronavirus that he and his administration have downplayed for months and even ridiculed Joe Biden for taking seriously and wearing a mask and distancing and having small crowds at his events. And in addition to this, the Trump administration is not coming clean with the seriousness of Donald Trump's condition. Now, I am not alleging that Donald Trump is deathly ill. But what is abundantly clear from the clips I'm going to play for you later today is that Donald Trump's doctors are not and have not been telling the truth about Donald Trump's health situation from the start. But to begin with, let's cut through all of the BS and speculation and talking points and just focus on what we know. There are two possibilities here. Either Donald Trump is being given tons of treatment despite having almost no symptoms, merely as a precaution because he's the president, which puts him at significant risk of side effects, and you'll hear why in a moment, or his coronavirus is much more serious than is being admitted, or as a third possibility, which I raise not because I believe it, but because I know there will be people who will write to me and say, you know, David, the third possibility is he doesn't really have coronavirus and it's all a sham. I don't believe that that is the case. I believe the political, it's not that he wouldn't lie about it. Trump would lie about anything. It's that it is of unclear benefit to fake having coronavirus. I just don't know that it would be a guaranteed advantage in any way. So I don't think he would do it. What we know is that Donald Trump has been in the hospital since Friday, is overweight, eats a terrible diet, is in his mid-70s, has needed supplemental oxygen. As of this point, we believe at least 2 times, had a high fever at least at one point, and is being given treatments that most people only get when they are much more serious. Why would the White House try to hide the seriousness of Trump's coronavirus if indeed that is what they are doing? Well, for optics and for public relations purposes. And in fact, by the time you hear this show today, it is actually possible that Donald Trump may have already been discharged from Walter Reed and be back at the White House. I'm going to say more about that a little bit later. Now, the first red flag that we saw, these are not my opinions, but these are the opinions of doctors. Dr. John Torres explained on NBC that Trump receiving the steroid dexamethasone is a major red flag that Trump is sicker than the White House is saying. Why? Because dexamethasone for coronavirus is only given when patients have a certain degree of lung involvement that typically would only happen 7 to 10 days into the disease. Donald Trump was given dexamethasone over the weekend, just a couple of days into treatment. That is not good. Number 2, once you read through the nonsense of Donald Trump's doctor, Sean Conley's public statements and focus not on the tone, but on the facts, Dr. Celine Gunder explains that Trump having a fever and an oxygen saturation level below 94 on Friday is not mild coronavirus. As Dr. Gounder explains, when you have oxygen saturation below 94, that is considered severe COVID, period. Going further, as Dr. Gounder explained on CNN, Trump was given remdesivir. Remdesivir and dexamethasone are serious medications given to patients with severe COVID. And as Dr. Eric Ding explains, dexamethasone is typically for patients either in the ICU or on ventilators, and sometimes for patients on oxygen who are going in the wrong direction in advance of possible ventilation. The NIH guidelines on dexamethasone, which are on the screen for our audience, are not recommended for mild or even moderate cases. So when we heard yesterday and the day before, as we heard that Donald Trump might be discharged today, and that may even have happened by the time that this show gets published, it simply doesn't line up with the facts that we have. So if Donald Trump is indeed or has been discharged today, it would very likely be for optics purposes. The hypothesis would be Again, they've taken the last few days to set up better medical facilities at the White House, with the goal being to transfer Donald Trump there and to be able to provide care for a more serious case at the White House. But it would be like being at the hospital. The other possibility, again, because we're working constantly with incomplete information from dishonest actors, is that there's just some bigger picture lie that is being told here. And again, this is an administration that has lied about everything, including Donald Trump's health, for 4 years. This is the skepticism that we should be coming in with. And case in point, they have been dishonest at every single opportunity. Nobody's saying Trump is going to die. Nobody's saying Trump is in the ICU or on a ventilator, but there have been no reasonable explanations as to how it is that Donald Trump has a mild case. It's always been mild, and every day they say he's improving, despite the fact that he's had fever, has needed oxygen at least twice, had an oxygen saturation below 94, and I believe in the 80s, which is very serious. We'll talk about that later. Received an unapproved antibody cocktail and remdesivir and dexamethasone. Is it simply because he's the president? It's starting to be hard to believe. This is, whatever your belief about Trump is, and mine is that he's horrible, it is a stressful and scary moment that we are living through at this time. We're going to talk next about the lying and the implications and everything else. I want to take a second to tell you about one of our sponsors, S&H Masks. S&H Masks has everything you need when it comes to face masks and other protective gear for COVID-19, and they're giving my audience 20% off. S&H Masks is the company that I've personally been going to for face masks. I love and trust the products they sell, and that's actually why I reached out to them about being a sponsor. I've tried tons of different face masks this year, like many of you, and I still have not found a mask that is more comfortable or easier to breathe in than the washable cotton masks that they sell. It's made of a silky, lightweight cloth that feels great on the skin, has a convenient adjustable strap, and it features a disposable 5-layer particle filter made of activated carbon. They also have disposable cloth masks, which are really comfortable, as well as all of the other gear like face shields, alcohol wipes, no-touch infrared thermometers, and all of their prices are very reasonable. I also love S&H Masks because they've donated over 60,000 masks to healthcare institutions. They're an excellent company. Shipping is just $5 and shipping is free on orders over $150. You can get there by going to davidpakman.com/mask. The link is under this video, and you can save 20% on everything in their store when you use the coupon code DAVID.